Outs left, one right. Takes it. Now a pitch up the middle. And dancing his way through is Vogler, and he's got room. We'll watch him fly. Touchdown, Cal. Fake handoff. Throw, middle. Yusuf pulls it in. And he scores.
Touchdown, Knights.
Yusuf over the middle, pulls it in, and he puts the Knights on the board with 2:29 to play. Earn what they need to earn this year. Throw right side, picked up there, and there's room in front. Running down the sidelines, Lincoln Senti into the end zone. Leaves a vapor trail behind him. It's a 31-yard touchdown reception. Add another, why not? 41-0 Scots. Motion left for Vogler. Betzer throws left side. It's Collins again. 40, 35, 30. Makes a move, finds an opening, and tiptoes his way in. And a live look there at the Caledonia Crazies. Alive and well here for week number 1. They've been waiting just as long as the rest of us for football season, and they're back in force. It's white out tonight. Look at some of those new uniforms here for Caledonia. The Golds, unveiling them here in 2024. Fun fact, you see the white helmets? It's the first time in over 30 years that they've worn white on their helmets here at Caledonia. They've always been purple, but deciding to mix it up a little this year. Daniel Yusuf gets swallowed under at the 20-yard line, maybe the 21. Knows how to run a little bit too. Quick screen, left side picked up. Aaron Collins finds the corner and finds the end zone. Collins carries it in for 6, and he lowers the boom while he's at it. Takes out Emmanuel Pettit and gets the first points of the 2024 season. 6-0 Scots. It is the most wonderful time of the year. No, it's not Christmas. Football season is back at Caledonia High School, and we're just about ready to roll. Hello, everybody. Welcome on Cal-Zone Livestream Network. Nate Wangler with you as we get you ready for this opening matchup against Windsor Holy Names, our friendly neighbors to the north, or if you're talking about Detroit, technically our friendly neighbors to the south. From Windsor, Ontario, Canada, getting ready to take on this Caledonia squad who has a whole lot of questions coming into the 2024 season, but we blast you back to August 1st. It was Max Preps who released their top 25 most dominant programs in the last 20 seasons in the state of Michigan. And a lot of the usual suspects: East Grand Rapids Catholic Central, Detroit Catholic Central, Detroit King, a lot of the similar names that we've seen throughout the course of those 20 seasons. But then at number 23, the one, the only, Caledonia High School. And over the last 3 years, we get to understand why they were put in that top 25 list. They had a state championship run back in 2022. They've made numerous deep runs in the postseason, including 3 consecutive dominant winning seasons. Last year, unfortunately, it ended not the way they wanted it to in the second round of the playoffs against Byron Center. A close loss in that one, but an opportunity to get this season off on the right foot. But again, a lot of questions coming into this game, losing 9 starters from last year's teams, so it's going to have to figure out exactly who to put and where here in week number 1. And on the other side for Windsor Holy Names, well, this isn't the first time that Coach Pennington has actually faced Holy Names in his career. He actually faced them when he was back coaching at Hazel Park, led by Dan Hogan in his 3rd season with this program. They actually made a run to the OFSAA finals not that long ago in Canada, and they're one of the better programs in that area of Ontario. Not only that, but the football culture is continuing to grow in Canada as well. You might know the name Theo Johnson. He was a tight end for Penn State. He was recently drafted by the New York Giants. He's actually from Windsor, Ontario, and played for this Holy Names program once upon a time. So they have a lot of great individual players. We'll see if they can put it all together and pull off the upset over the American side in this ball game here tonight. They've done it before, and they're looking to do it again here in this ball game on Thursday. Well, the talk is over. All the preseason workouts have concluded. These guys are sick of hitting each other, so now it's time to go out and hit somebody else. We'll get our nation's anthem into the mix, and then we bring you back for Caledonia and Windsor Holy Names right here on the Cal-Zone Livestream Network. Welcome back, Cal-Zone Livestream Network. Nate Wangler back alongside head coach Derek Pennington as we get ready for Caledonia to take on West Ottawa here tonight. Cal fresh off of a 47-12 victory over Grand Haven on the road. They improved to 7-0. They look to make it 8-0 and stay undefeated in conference play here tonight. Coach, first off, thanks for joining us again as you do every week. Some of your first impressions from that game and maybe some takeaways you had from your face-off against Grand Haven.
I mean, we came out, I thought we maybe were a touch flat, especially on defense. We looked up the game's 14-12, but Coach Ball did a nice job making some adjustments, and we had to do a couple things. We get some pressure on the passer. We kind of widened out our outside linebackers, Jed and Derek Jr., and brought some more pressure. They were able to get a number of sacks. Just shored up our secondary a little bit. So offensively, we didn't really – I think we punted once all night. We moved the ball, scored 47. We had the ball on the 2-yard line and let time run out the last possession. So I was pleased on offense how we ran the ball. Brock didn't play. Blake Heron had 220 yards and 4 touchdowns. Is up for live player of the game as a running back and doesn't play a ton of running back for us, but is a really good player and a good athlete. DJ Walker filled in for Justice Reed, who was out, and had a couple touchdowns too. So it was nice to see 2 juniors come in and fill in and be as productive as they were.
Definitely wanted to mention Blake Heron, career game for him, as you mentioned, obviously over 200 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. You mentioned how your offensive line this year, although a little bit smaller, is much more athletic. And you mentioned just how impressive the tackle play has been for you. How were you able to spring him free and allow him to have a game like that?
Well, we were running it at them pretty good. They were doing some X games to try to mess with some of our reads, so we had really hurt them with like a boundary sweep play that we ran last year. So as the game went on, we started running that again. I think we popped 2 or 3 touchdowns on it. So, I think our line does a nice job of pulling and getting out in front of our kids. And, to be honest, Derek Jr.'s blocking has improved from his sophomore season to his junior season too, and he's making a lot of blocks out in space as we kind of arc him out to block for either the running back or the quarterback. So it's been good up front so far.
You talked a little bit about the slow start to that game, 14-12 in the first quarter against Grand Haven. It's always important to get off to a good start, especially when you look forward to some of the opponents you have at the end of the season and going into the postseason. What was the conversation like during practice and just trying to get off to a better start this week?
Well, I think sometimes when you get out there, you see some things initially you didn't practice for, and so that can happen. I don't think our kids were playing with a low effort. I just think it was, it was a different environment. To be honest with you, it was our smallest crowd of the year. I think a lot of people just assumed they were looking at records that it was going to be not a great game, and the weather didn't look good. So we had a nice little student section, but it wasn't the atmosphere of the Ralph, that's for sure.
Looking at West Ottawa, Pat Collins taking over as their head coach, he had 3 state championships at Montague and obviously took over a program there at West Ottawa that hadn't won a game in 3 years. And I think in some ways it's, kind of a sleeping giant, not only with the amount of kids they have, but the facilities they have as well. They were able to do something this year that, again, they hadn't done in several seasons, and that's win a football game. But looking at their team, what's something they do well that you need to kind of shut down coming up tonight in order to get the victory?
I've known Pat a long time, and us spread guys all hang together. He's a good spread coach. They do things a little differently than we do, but they've really gotten into the RPO game. Their quarterback runs around and throws it pretty good. So and they threw the ball on us last year some, starting out. So he does some things really well in the pass game. We're going to have to be able to shut down or contain, and so that's a concern.
On the defensive side, Cooper Terpstra committed to Grand Valley State University, one of their defensive tackles. In their 3 wins that they did have this year, they were able to kind of shore up things defensively, and that's how they were able to come out on top. Any concern, I guess, on the defensive end for West Ottawa? How do you attack them on the offensive end?
Well, they're big up front, and they stun around and blitz around. Pat's a old odd stat guy. Looks like he's playing a little bit more of a 3-4 type front now, and they stay on top of routes pretty good. They always got 2 safeties up top, and so we're obviously going to have our challenges with them, but we think we got a good plan. And the thing is, when you've been doing this as long as I have on offense, you've seen everything. So we just kind of dial back and look at what we did against similar fronts and secondaries in the past.
I guess one of the hardest things to do, as a coach is managing expectations. We talked about how much the media loved you guys preseason, and I remember you telling us that you guys don't pay attention to that. Not that we don't know what we're talking about, but in a lot of cases, sometimes we don't. And when you look ahead to the final game of the season in Rockford and everything that could happen with that game, sometimes it's easy to forget about the one that you have right in front of you. Have you gotten the impression that your guys maybe are looking ahead, or do you feel like they're locked in and ready to get it done?
All right. I think if there's one thing we preach to our kids daily is just about winning the day, preparing 1 week at a time. Maybe from a psychological standpoint, they have a lot of people talking to them about that game, but we're very pointed in our approach to look. We're going to try to prepare every day for the game we're going to play. So I respect Pat Collins at West Ottawa. They got 2,400 kids in that school. They just built a $20 million stadium. That's a formidable team, and we're going to have our hands full.
And one last question for you. Obviously, Brock was out of the last game. He was cleared on Thursday to come back and play today. Got roughed up a little bit during that East Kentwood game, but what have you seen his week of practice, and is he ready to go?
It's fine. Honestly, we take the right precautions with our kids, and there's a process for kids returning to play. We could have dressed him Friday and played him, but that was a choice we made not to from a precautionary standpoint. Brock's going to play tonight. He's going to play safety. He's going to play running back. He's going to play. So I treat all these kids like they're my own kids. So we do what we think's right week to week in terms of getting back on injuries and things like that.
Well, congratulations on another win. Should be another exciting night here tonight against West Ottawa, and then obviously Rockford coming up next week. But again, check out our broadcast, Cal-Zone Livestream Network, 7 o'clock, 6:45, our pregame show as we get ready for Caledonia and West Ottawa. Coach, as always, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Go Scots.
We'll be right back. This is the Cal-Zone Livestream Network.